Hello, welcome back to this episode. My name is William James. Today we're going to look at my Friday reads, books that I've read in the last few weeks, some of the stuff I didn't cover last time, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So as always, before I start, please like, subscribe and share this to anywhere possible. Every little helps when it comes to YouTube. Let's start the show. Mexican Gothic. Now, this book was sold to me as a chilling, spooky, great kind of... someone said if you're a fan of, like, American Horror Story, you're going to love this. And yes, I did enjoy Mexican Gothic. I don't think it was as strong as people said it was. It was an enjoyable one read, but it didn't quite lead me down the path of being jumped. I kind of predicted the story before it happened, which I found frustrating because it was like, oh, I know where this is going. And it didn't give me quite the chills that I wanted. I felt like it held back. Yes, a good read, but it felt like it could have been more. It could have been stronger, maybe. I felt like the writer had held back with some of the more jumpy, darker elements, and it's a shame because I think this had the makings to be a spectacular book. I was prepared for something far stronger, and this, while okay, just didn't tick those boxes for me. Where These Mountains Burn by David Joy. David Joy is a phenomenal writer, and he wrote Where All the Lights Tend to Go and a few others. He kind of gets branded Hicklick, which I really hate that phrase. He talks about the everyman, the guy who lives in a trailer, the family dysfunction. He talks about real people that are very underrepresented in modern society. And his work is phenomenal. I've talked about David Joy, and I was very lucky to get a review copy of this. David Joy has become one of my favourite writers. He's engaging and funny. Follow the guy on Twitter and Instagram. He is brilliant. I really do think that when it comes to writing, his books are phenomenal. You have well-built characters, well-built scenarios. You feel everything flows and nothing feels out of place. David Joy as a writer is phenomenal, and it seems strange that his work seems very hard to get in the UK and isn't on Audible in the UK or available in any audio formats in the UK. But I was very lucky to read this, and this is a strong 5 out of 5. I won't say too much. I think you need to read it yourself. The next book I read was Fortitude, American Resilience in an Era of Outrage. This is kind of a bio/self-help book. Now, the guy that wrote it has an interesting story. Dan is a war veteran. He was a SEAL. And basically, he got injured badly, which resulted in the loss of the eye and almost going blind in his other. He is a very unique voice. He also works within politics. His story is fascinating alone. And while I disagree with some of his political opinions, I do agree with others. This book deals with outrage culture and the idea that, everyone has to be this or do that. Everyone's offended. And it's true. We do live in an age where, I think Bret Easton Ellis said it best, Generation Wuss, which this deals with brilliantly. It's an interesting take, and many of his opinions ring very true. It's quite an eye-opening book to read, and there is a pun in that sentence, and that was not intended. This book deals with the culture that is building, and it deals with a culture that is slowly kind of eating itself alive. Fascinating read. I sat down and I reread No Country for Old Men, Cormac McCarthy. Cormac McCarthy is up there as one of my favourite writers of all time. This is almost like a psychedelic thriller crime thing, all kind of pushed into one. It deals with the psychological aspects, and it's phenomenal. The film is stunning. I'm very lucky that the film and the book are equally as good, and both have this very unique and very ambiguous ending. No Country for Old Men will chill you to the bone. It's well written, it's interesting, the characters are rounded and full, and to be honest, it's one of those books I think we all know by osmosis. So there's not much I can say about it here that hasn't been said already. But I do like this kind of dark, in-your-face, brutal. It's almost brutalist in its take on storytelling book. I'm so looking forward to anything Cormac McCarthy writes, and I'm slowly working my way through his entire bibliography. Finally, Antisemitism, the Oldest Hatred, Essays, Speeches and Other Writings by John Mann. This book is powerful, it's in your face, and we live in an age where anti-Semitism seems to be very popular right now, and for many reasons, and everything seems to be this weird discourse. It seems strange that we live in the 21st century and you can't say boo to a goose, but it's okay to echo anti-Semitism, and especially where anti-Semitism seems to come from predominantly, especially in the UK. Not many people are willing to say it, and I'm not going to say it here because I don't want to be cancelled. This book is thought-provoking and dark and not the easiest read in places, but it deals with it beautifully. I listened to this on audiobook because, ironically, I had one of those books. I had it on a MP3 CD from the library that I still haven't returned because I can't return any books. If you want an education in anti-Semitism, do check this book out.